Hi, YouTube. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm listening to a leak project right now. Rex Bear, uh, Angels or Aliens, Vatican Archives, Pentagon, Revelation, it's with an S. Um, Mysterious, something or another. Just a sec, I'm gonna pull up more what he says here if it comes up. Oh, it doesn't seem to be. Oh, maybe. Just a moment. Objects unveiled. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Talking about how the Pentagon and Harvard and Homeland Defense are all talking about these supposedly supersonic, he didn't use this word, I'm using this word, supersonic crafts that can appear to go in other dimensions and whatever. Look, I'm a realist. I like things that are not just, I mean, the spiritualness of our being is one thing, but when Harvard and the Pentagon and the Congress all collude to enforce the idea that there are aliens on this planet. Now, they've been saying this for decades and decades. We grew up with it. Now, our kids and their kids and next generations are going to be growing up with this. Their collusion to make you believe that some other entity, not human, but entity, so it would be somebody besides themselves that are going to do something harmful or dangerous to you or I or the people in your country or my country under the guise of what they are calling alien. And people seem to really want to believe that there's aliens that are going to do something to you when it's actually going to be our own governments that are colluding together just like they do to sit down and see who they're going to go to war with, whose country is going to destroy another country, and then all of that goes into the same cabal. Every single either side doesn't matter. But I just wonder how many people in the world actually believe that there are off-world world aliens. I mean, even the movie E.T., E.T. Phone Home, that's like me going to Wisconsin. E.T., extraterrestrial, not outer space. They, just, and they act like this terrestrial being that is a part of the human family is something off world because they're telling you that they can get through the Kuiper Belt and they can go to Mars or Venus or the moon or whatever. And people are believing all this. Um, have you ever seen an alien? I mean, really, is there somebody that we can actually prove? I mean, they could produce it with CGI now, and God knows, even Project Bluebeam and the things that they've been doing. I saw that there was another monolith that appeared, and the last one appeared and then disappeared. Um, Holographic Bluebeam with the aluminum in our atmosphere, lenses and reflections. Oh, they got a big setup. I saw the schematics on it. It's all really true. It's true. They can do these things like a giant projector. And the sound systems, just think of like when the Bose Wave speakers first came out. that was such a high-tech technology that they could stick in a little radio-sized, um, transmitter and be able to have, like, a giant sound system sound out of tiny little speakers. Can you imagine with the holographic capabilities and the sound system capabilities and the towers that can transmit everything everywhere, what exactly they could make people believe with all that? That's what's going to happen. That's what they're doing. It's a part of their agenda to scare the living bejesus out of everybody so you'll turn to them and trust in them. Like, what was it, Reagan who said that? Or one of them clowns, maybe Bush Jr. Oh, I think it was Reagan, that the whole world would come together if it were in threat of alien forces. Oh, would you really? So anyway, it's all a setup, and I really can't believe people that are buying into it. It's like, um, really, they'd rather believe in something that isn't tangible to us than they would in, the reality of what actually is, you know. And just think of the disturbed people and children that will be in this world if they succeed in making everybody believe that this is an actual thing, you know. I don't know. It just is unbelievable to me that even that the Pentagon would discuss it, or even that Harvard professors, teachers that have never gone to school or taught aliens would even have a conversation about it, you know. But then I suppose they probably were the type of kids that maybe, I don't know, God knows what they believed, like that the tooth fairy was actual, and Santa Claus is real, and you know hate to burst your bubble, but the Easter bunny isn't real either, you know just things that have been taught for generations. So now we're going into the third generation of people being told that there were off-world entities. And when is there ever going to be is there ever going to be any generation that comes up strong and says, no, actually it's just other people and they're not very good people that would harm others and trick others for the machine that greases their palms for their families? And people would actually discuss it like it's a reality, enforcing what is nonsense for generations. Just enforce it. Like, we like this fairy tale, so we think we'll hang on to it, not understanding that you're putting yourself in danger by the very people that want to keep you ignorant and acting ignorant along with that. It's really not a good idea, people. It's really not. The more you can speak up against this, don't you see them spraying the air? Don't you see the crap crickets that they're putting in food? I mean, and why do you need a flavor enhancer made out of aborted fetal cell? in food, you know, biogenetically engineered, modified, emulsified. Ooh, yummy. Cheers, everybody. I mean, you can read an article with all the enthusiasm in the world, but it seems so childlike to me. It's like, have you ever just really just grabbed a microscope and a slide and put a drop of your own blood in it and looked at it? Have you ever studied real science, real biology of human beings? We're pretty fascinating all by ourselves. I believe there's extra land that we don't have access to. Yeah, extraterrestrials. I wholeheartedly believe that. I grew up with a bunch of ancient maps that showed the outer continents, you know. So I don't know who's to say, right? None of us can really prove it, but and we've all been up in planes, but here's the weird thing to me. Um when like worked on a ranch and we had different like um twin engine or single engine planes that we'd go up and you could just see forever up there. Or I've been on seaplanes and big jets and whatever. The last time I was up in the air, I couldn't see taking off. I could see the clouds once I was up there, and I couldn't see coming down. I could not see any of the land and the markings on the earth like I used to be able to see. Like leaving from Minnesota, you could see the lakes on the ground. Not last time, you know, but I just thought that was pretty weird. It makes me wonder why. Like I haven't seen the Milky Way for 20 years. I live in the country. It isn't the light pollution. So these people are jacking everything, every aspect of our lives and making it so unnatural. It's not natural what they're doing. It's not necessary, you know? Blocking out the sun. I hate to tell you, but the sun isn't that hot. It's downright cold. It's 67. It should be 87. This is not global warming, people. Not at all. Blocking out the sun when you need it to grow crops. Yeah, it's they're doing some really heinous things to people. And other most people they're like they really don't want to believe that others could be that evil and not give a shit. I hate it to believe it too. Who wants to think that somebody actually doesn't care? Well, you find out the older you get, you find out that very few people really do. I know. It's strange. If you've never felt like that, you really can't get the concept through our thick heads that they don't flipping care. You know, that's a hard pill to swallow. Really is. But it's true. Let's put it this way. They may not be the type of person that would hit their own child in the head, but they'd sure hit somebody else's. Or they'd sign your child up to go to war so they can make money for their children. These are the type of people we're not dealing with aliens. We're dealing with filthy human beings that hate others that much and can stand up before you and tell you how they believe in God, but won't give you the time of day. People actually think that the so-called leaders of this world would actually sit down like a human being in your life and commune with you as a spiritual human being. That will never happen, and if it does, it'll be for show. It's not a real thing. Somebody that would actually vote and think that it was a real thing, I used to. It's been a long time, but I used to believe that it might make a difference that if we at least tried. Well, when I write my House of Representative, the secretary of the House of the state legislatures in my state over a year ago now, and I still haven't gotten an answer, that pretty much tells me how much trying to talk to your representatives helps. It doesn't matter, obviously, on the issues that are important, like child trafficking, that type of thing that is going on legally under the guise of other things with the Hague group that's ran out of Norway that handles all adoptions throughout the world. Why would that be? What business do they have running something in our country? Well, they do. And I wanted to know why. I want to know why a child would be adopted out of our country. That makes no sense. That's a citizen of the United States. This is treasonous towards that child. This is treasonous towards us. And it's not just one kid. It's just one that I could pinpoint and speak on that had been recent. Not just myself and what happened to me, but what's currently going on to other people. You know, all this crap that's going on that they're making money off of, and people are talking about and aliens helping them with their trickery. That's all it is. When people perpetuate that, you're just helping the enemy of mankind. Maybe you should just go to work and walk up to your House of Representatives and hand them over your money. Just say, "Here you go, master. I love serving you." That's as dense as people are. I love you so much. You can have everything of mine, including my family. Here you go. Doesn't matter because I believe in aliens. I believe everything you tell me because you're the boss. You're the boss to me and everybody else. And hail to you. Yeah, damn you all to hail. Oh, anyway, people that believe that, that's just ignorant. Really? Evidently. Okay, tooth fairy babies, you know? Blows me away. I mean, okay, report on something, but to get so excited like it's something real, you know? Yeah. Takes all kinds, I guess, right? But the kinds it doesn't take is the kinds that would perpetuate trickery and wars and murder, child trafficking, that all the nasty things that really go on daily in our lives, and just let it go by with ignorance, like, oh, it's either exciting to report on. Nothing like helping my enemy destroy the lives of the next generations. And it all started thousands of years ago, that most people just can't grasp that whole languages and counting systems and calendars were based on lies. The whole orchestration of the whole thing is so vast and so big, people are like, well, it just couldn't be true that that many people for that long would be involved in something that was such a scheme. Oh, really? Here's a question for the Kabbalists out there, the occultists, and the magic wielders, the Jewish congregation. Could you give me a clue here with your magic words? Please, maybe do something for this world with all your magic? It sure has helped, hasn't it? Maybe for the entity that controls your money, and you're all cool with that because that's your life and nobody else's. The ones that say they are the caretakers. My godfather that takes care of my soul. Oh, yeah, because I'm a slave. And would you just please tell me how that magic works? Yeah, right. Magic words. I got some magic words for you, too. Sure hasn't done a lot for mankind, has it? But then, everybody's a wizard and a witch, aren't we? We have our will power, don't we? Who controls that? Where does that energy come from, actually? The universe? Isn't it odd that a vehicle that is called a unibody, una, isn't attached to the frame? It's just an interesting concept to kind of go along with that. Hmm. Maybe we're not attached to the universe. Maybe people just think we are. It's just a thought. None of us can really prove it, can we? Can you prove there's a universe? They say there's millions of galaxies, you know, right? Prove it. They got grand telescopes. They've got the Hubble. They've got Lucifer and another one that the Vatican owns. And all we got is CGI renditions of what faraway places look like. No actual footage of real stuff. That's a little weird, isn't it? I have two telescopes, a small one and a pretty large one. And I get real images with my eyes. I know that's a fact. But they could get right up on the surface of the moon if they wanted to and show us as close as I am to this camera right now with their capabilities. But they don't do that. Why? I wonder why. We're doing everything else, but not satisfying the curiosity of the stargazing people out here. It's like, hey, you have all that technology and all the money that the people have put towards all that. Let's see something with it. Right. They're going to go to Mars. Right. And for my next trick, I'm going to pull aliens out of my hat and put them in the air. And so, all you clowns out there that love to pretend there's aliens, maybe you want to pretend they're lizards with what do they call that? Um, RN, or no, not RN, it's something. I'll think of it with said to be like the demonic bloodline with R negative stuff or whatever, you know. You can just believe they're lizards from space, you know. Think it was a band called America. I might be wrong, but they made a song and part of the lyrics are alligator lizards in the air. Coldplay's got another song too talking about the crocodiles, but they're really just people with it's evil intent for the whole human race. And still, the capabilities of any computer will never surpass the human mind. It cannot and will not be able to invent, like humans can, no matter what they say. All it can do is calculate and store data, you know. So they can keep pretending, but it will not and cannot create life, you know. And I don't believe that any of us would be able to ever duplicate the voice of God that created everything, that wavelength. It's like we all have individual voices. So does God. What do you think? It's comprised of all of our voices or individual? We're made in His image. It's not identical, you know? I don't know. But this alien thing has got me a little like, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Doug's out there monkeying with his little truck he's building. He's got actually, the vehicle he's gonna put on the frame that he took the old truck off. Well, a newer truck, he's gonna put an old truck on that frame, but the old truck's got trees. He's gotta cut down the trees first to be able to get the truck out of where it's been sitting. So yeah, it's like at one time on our hill, we used to be able to drive up our hill with the Jeep, and then we didn't do it for a while, and now there's trees all over it. We did cut a path at one time that we were snowboarding down one winter. Um, but yeah, and the other side of the hill, once you get up there, you can't really ski down that side. You'd kill yourself. It's too steep. You can barely walk down it. You can kind of sideways, but yeah, it's pretty steep up there. But yeah, my point is if you let something sit around here too long, nature will take over, you know. That's probably why the governments just got to keep on people because they keep bombarding us with all their bullshit. Harvard said this, the Pentagon said this, we're going to release papers. Oh, but it's not all there, or oh this or oh that, or we lost all the information on how to go to the moon. Wow. How's that for trajectory, you know? We could never figure that out again. We could back in the 60s, but we just can't now because we're so intelligent. We've advanced, you know, all their lies, and people are like, oh, okay, you know, can't use your cell phone if you get down into a valley, but they called the moon on a landline. It's just so remarkable. And I used to run ham radio and CBs. Um, so I was like into wireless stuff before it was really a thing, a big thing in the world. So I understood the concept, but it still had its limitations, you know, and it still has its limitations. But people are like, oh, the government said it, so, oh, okay, it's an alien. It's not just bad people, it's aliens, you know. I need to drive that point home. ET is not an out of the world concept. ET means extraterrestrial, terra, ground, earth. The only thing in outer space is more ether. The stuff that connects us in between you and me, that's ether. The thoughts that transmit between you and I, it's a real thing. It's in the ether. It's the in between. It's the black void. It's the black hole. It's the anti material, non matter, where that energy is located that they cannot capture, or very few people can even work within it because they haven't been taught that it's an actual real thing, you know. And even if they're taught that, doesn't mean they're good at it, and might be dangerous for them to even attempt something like that because there are bad people described as aliens and entities and lizards that know how to work that. They're masters at it. Oh, maybe not too much, but they think they've mastered it. So they're magic. They can do magic with their words for themselves from their father, the father of confusion, that doesn't care about anybody else but themselves. Yeah, it's a big group. Like they say, it's a big club, and you ain't in it. Neither am I. Thank you, God. You couldn't pay me to be a deceiver. And you couldn't pay me to use dark cabal magic either. What has become affiliated with dark sorcery, and it's nothing else but that at this time in our lives. There's nothing pleasant about trying to conjure something when you have your free will and it's a natural thing. Why do you have to practice something that comes natural? Why do you have to make it like it's some kind of a roadmap schematic, like mapped out machine for something that could be taught in natural ways? You have to make it like hocus pocus and fantastic so you get kids hooked on the dark part of what is natural when that's not what it's supposed to be used for. You should be able to think something in your future and work towards that, your goals, and that's enough magic without any words or spells or numbers or talismans or whatever you have to use. A magic wand. You know, it's all sickening. Like I say, the most sickening part about it all is adults that are acting like the tooth fairy's real, and this is just, it just drives me crazy. I really think that they've never worked hard enough. If their brain isn't working and they're thinking fantastic thoughts in our human world, and that's not enough for them. The miracles of even a tree growing. Go plant a tree. Stop looking for spacecraft and protect the next generation with the reality of where those children have to grow up. You know, what's more important, really? Playing pretend or protecting the next ones that are going to be going through worse bullshit than we ever have. Every progressively, and this is the way it always goes. Your governments will let you gather a little bit of riches, the economy will drop, they'll get richer and richer, and you get little, they'll dole it out to you. Well, today we can afford to go to a movie, or we can go out to have something to eat next month if we budget things just right. Why you think that our government is spotting alien aircrafts that they're going to have to protect you from, and you'll pay them for it. It's all amazing. So, well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I love you all. I just had to talk about that. It's important. It's a part of the agendas, and they're real. The agendas are real, not what they're saying they are, but what they're going to do to people and are doing to people. It's absolutely real. So, all right, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.